Hi guys, thanks for joining me. Paul, if I can initially ask you, how did your squash journey begin?
So I started playing approximately 10 years ago. So I used to play football. That was my sport. When I stopped playing football, we moved to this house, and there's a squash court approximately 500 yards from where we live. My neighbour took me around there and kind of enjoying playing ever since.
So Dylan, how did you get involved and what experiences have you had in the game so far?
I was just going on court with my dad, really, just whenever I could. Just in between games, after games, just to get a feel for the ball, and it just progressed since. I found it quite tough at the beginning because everyone was much better than me. But then, as I started playing more and more often, then I found it got easier, and then I found myself beating those players.
So what was the step thereafter then? How did you progress?
The transition probably took a couple of years for him to enjoy it and then move into the Kent setup. He was still only 7 at the time when we joined the Kent setup. He was playing under 11s at the time. There was like a B team that we played in. I think they call it Super Series or something. I can't think what they called it at the time. I remember his first game when we played Essex over where that was, but that was his Kent debut. It was quite a memorable day, quite good fun. And that probably took close to 2 years.
Who's been your biggest inspiration and why?
My biggest inspiration is probably Nick Matthew, because I feel that he's done a lot for the sport and he's made it as a really good sport for the juniors and adults too.
So how do you balance your school life with squash? I mean, it's difficult in the present climate because you're at home.
So I'll usually I go to school and then I'll either have squash or I'll do work, because most of the time it'll be one and then the other, vice versa. So because I don't want to be too sporty and then not have the brains to go to university.
Is that answer?
Paul, I was about to say that's an answer you gave him earlier. Where do you see yourself in 10 years' time then?
I'd like to see myself in a university studying, preferably in America.
Is the thinking on that then that you'll study at a university where you're able to still continue playing squash?
Yeah, that's what I'd like to do.
What happens then if the squash trajectory, shall we say, goes further than you expected?
I'd like to try and get onto the Pro Tour and try and travel the world. I've always thought of travelling.
That travelling, what's the squash journey been like, and where have you got to at this point in time?
This year, Dylan got selected for England, which was we were a bit unlucky not to get selected last year, so it was a big bonus this year to get selected and be selected as a number 1 as well, which was a team of 5, 3 boys and 2 girls. And that was actually due to be played last weekend, the 5 Nations, but unfortunately that got cancelled as part of the outbreak. But that was so that shows his progress that he's made. We did the US Open this year. He finished 9th, was it? 8th, 9th? 7th there, and 9th in the British Junior Open. They're the 2 biggest squash competitions in the world for juniors.
Dylan, what's your biggest achievement to date then?
My biggest achievement is probably winning the English, because I've come runner-up 2 years in a row, and then it was just a big relief to win it.
Have you got any of your trophies?
This is the one from the English, the most recent one. So this is when I played Jude in the finals.
All Kent final, that's twice in 3 years that Kent have had an all English junior final, which is fantastic.
And then we've got the Surrey Gold, where I played Jude in the finals again. And so this was my first ever gold win. And yeah, I was really pleased with that and how I performed. And then this is the British Championships, where I lost in the finals.
For you, what's been the biggest momentum to keep you going?
You just have to think that no matter like what they look like or where they're from, just always think that you can beat them, and don't ever get like too confident or don't ever get too annoyed if you're losing.
And the size differences and things like that, you know, how do you overcome those?
I just always think that you don't have to be like big and strong in squash. You can it can be down to fitness or shots. So I just feel like I could always like compete against the bigger people.
So Dylan now plays in the adult team, so down at Bexley. So he plays in the same team as I do. He was playing at number 5. He's now moved to number 2 in our team, so he's above me now. So it's a little bit disheartening.
Well, does he beat you, and do you take it well?
He does beat me now. It happened this year.
It's earlier than this year. Last year.
Was it last year? Oh, sorry, I've been told it was last year. I can't compete with him now. Yeah, I'm an okay local club player, you know, reasonably good squash level. But these kids now, I used to think it would be around 15 before he beat me.
Certainly went one better than I did. I don't think I'd beaten my dad by the time I was 15. Just thinking about the present climate now, guys, what are you doing to keep yourselves fit?
You know, we go out jogging and cycling, and England Squash have been amazing. They have laid on sessions pretty much every day for the juniors, and most days multiple sessions. So this week Dylan's done a tactical match analysis, nutrition. They cook some food as well with the nutritionist, and several fitness sessions. So he's going to come out of this not short of fitness, but obviously the lack of we have squash nets or rebound nets, so we're having plenty of practice against that. But that's not the same as obviously hitting a squash ball on the squash court.
General impression I'm getting off everybody, it's that ability to get the court time, isn't it? We all want to do, you know, hit the ball properly. So Dylan, how are you finding it at the moment?
I mean, my fitness, if it keeps improving, then I'll be happy with that by the time we get back. And then it'll just be focusing on the hitting against the ball.
Well, I'd just like to really now get your advice to any other parent out there that's got a child that's, you know, taking up the game, because you've had Dylan obviously since, you know, the age of 7 and going through all this development. So yeah, any pearls of wisdom, should we say? I
think the main thing is make sure the kids enjoy it. Don't put too much pressure on them, because, you know, unfortunately kids nowadays get pressures from so many different angles from school. You know, every parent wants their kid to be the best that they can. And if you're not careful, the kids don't enjoy what they're doing. And I think the biggest thing for me is Dylan's always enjoyed it and wants to do it. And I just try and help him along the way. We're not pushy parents. We just try and encourage him to do what he wants to do, but it has to be driven by him, not by us.
Cool, guys.
Thanks for your time. Appreciate it. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah.
Thank you.